Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Doesn't Even Matter podcast, the podcast where we will lay in cat piss, whether you dare us to or not. I had to let my kitten in the other day into my room. He just had surgery recently, and thought, I felt bad. He was in the other room in quarantine, and he was meowing at me, sticking his paw through the door early in the morning. I felt bad. It's cold in there. So I thought I'll bring him in my room. I'm playing video games. He can chill with me. So I brought in his cat box and brought in his food and all, and his water. And I went to go lay in bed, and all of a sudden I'm laying in something wet. I'm like, what the hell is this? I haven't wet the bed. I didn't spill nothing. So my kitten, evidently pissed on my bed. So, needless to say, he's kicked out of my room for a while. Oh, I didn't realize it until I laid in
Yeah,
it, of
that's not
course.
a nice thing to happen to somebody.
I know you guys are wondering, what do you think you're so cool with your cat piss and your glasses, huh? My eyes been bothering me, the lights. So, like a vampire, I need to keep my eye away from the light. Man, it's been bugging me. I felt like I woke up from a dream with someone eye gouging me, man. It was killing me. But enough about me and my cat piss and my eye. But yeah, there's a new website out there. You can get free games on Xbox One. This is pretty cool. It's xboxy.com. We'll put a link up there for it. You can go there. It's a web browser that's built for the Xbox One. It actually allows you to play multiple different games up there. There was a zombie game. There was the brick breaker game. I forget what the hell it's called. It's the one where you have that bouncing ball like in Pong, but you break the bricks up top and it bounces all over the place. I used to love that game back in the day. There's about 20 some games up there now, and if you talk to them, they'll actually cater the website to how you want. Um, Major Nelson was the one that brought me onto it, so I guess it's sanctioned and all. You don't have to worry about viruses or anything like that on it. You just go into your internet browser on the Xbox One, open up Xboxy, it's XBOXIE.com, and yeah, there's free video games for you there, and you guys can check it out. I thought that was pretty cool. Now, I just had my Xbox when I was broadcasting on Twitch recently hooked up to my cable box, and I noticed that I was getting an HDCP error. Now, I had to disconnect the Xbox from the cable box and actually pull the power cord out of my Xbox to get my Xbox to not have HDCP. Now, for those who don't know what HDCP is, uh, the guys, I think it was the FCC or one of the companies that has to do with media, decided that they were going to put this extra signal that when it passes through HDMI, it had to do with what's called a handshake. They had to check the signal on both ends to make sure that everything was legitimate, so that you're not copying copyrighted information onto your hard drive onto your computer. Now, Ace, you were talking, or sorry, Ryan, you were telling me that this is actually allowed, but for some reason they're still doing it.
Well, I'm pretty sure if you get a receiver from your cable company, if they provide it, which most of them are supposed to, you can actually put it's like a capture card. Like you plug in your, what's the name of the cable, like the coax cable, into your computer, and you
Coax
can
cable, yeah.
record your TV straight to it. But there's been issues where some companies don't provide it, and then there's also the thing where they just don't want to give it to you because they don't want you to have it as like a DVR and all that, even though they provide DVRs. And
Yeah, well, that's for they charge you a premium for that though to have the DVR. When I worked at Comcast a while back, I actually went over a guy's house who had his cable box hooked up directly into his computer. Now, he had a special device that had a coax cable directly onto the computer itself. He must have had some type of chip plugged into like a PCI slot or something like that, and it had a coax cable into it. So I guess he was running it from his cable box into his computer so that he could download and watch shows, I guess, on the computer and save it to his hard drive. And I don't
yeah,
know
so
what it
like a
was.
home media center PC.
Yeah, exactly. And he basically was using it probably like a DVR and all. But I actually had a problem also with HDCP, and I'm not even hooked up to the Xbox. I'm not even hooked up to my TV at all, or my cable box. And recently, I was looking into it. Supposedly, there's some type of error with the AverMedia Live HD, where occasionally it will give you an HDCP error. Now, I don't know why it's doing this because I don't have it hooked up to anything other than my computer. I have my HDMI cable coming from my graphics card, goes from the 780 Ti directly into the Live Gamer HD AverMedia device, out from the AverMedia device into my computer monitor here. And I was getting an HDCP error. This was after I had broadcasted and then shut it down and opened it again, and restarted my computer, and I still got it. Uh, it was a pain in the ass because I don't know why it was doing it. I don't have anything other than I think Google Hangouts maybe open, and it was still doing it.
Join Me, I think.
Yeah,
I
from
thought
what I
Join
was
Me
reading
might
on the
have caused it
website, somebody
also,
was
which
saying that they
I doubt
suspected the
at this
AverMedia
point.
device was doing it. Now, I don't know if this was. It's probably on the software end. It doesn't really have to do with hardware as far as I'm concerned. But I don't know if any of you guys have had the same problem. If so, please discuss it on the comments below. Let us know if you've had the same problem. Maybe we can figure it out. It's randomly, though. It only happens every once in a while. But it's
It
annoying.
could also be, it'd be a weird thing, but since your actual monitor is a TV, maybe it just throws it sometimes and thinks that it's, you know, like a TV program type of thing because it's on a TV, which I don't know why it would do that. I know it's like a weird theory about it, but you never know with stuff nowadays. Like it might just have a glitch and just think that it's HDCP, like high def or what is it, uh, like content protection or whatever it is. I forget what the actual term stands
Might
for.
be high definition content protection. I'm
I
not
don't know,
sure.
high bandwidth or something.
Well,
I'll look it up.
Yeah. In any case, it's been causing an issue for us. Before I had to switch out one of my my splitters on my TV, not really for HDCP, but it was causing intermittent issues where the screen would flicker and I would have a loss of signal. I recently picked up a 4K ready splitter, so I haven't had an issue with it. I like it a lot. I spent $42 on it. I'll give you guys a link to the one I bought from Amazon.com. So if you're looking to do the same thing or you're just trying to have the same kind of setup, you can check it out, and I highly recommend it. It hasn't given me an issue so far, and I'll let you know
Yeah, I
as
just checked.
time
It's
progresses.
high bandwidth digital content protection.
Well, then why is it HD? Wouldn't
It's
it be
like a
HB?
hyphenated high bandwidth
Yeah.
with a hyphen
Oh, okay.
and then digital. Yeah, they didn't want to have HBDCP. Doesn't sound as good.
But yeah, man, it's been an uphill battle with trying to get everything working right. It's real technical, man. It's almost like we're trying to run our own radio show and television show, and trying to get the Twitch stream going at the same time and recording and all these devices hooked up. It's been a pain in the ass to say the least. It's not easy, so please respect the guys that do all this stuff because I'll tell you, it takes me and Ace, basically me and Ryan, sorry, to constantly set this up and keep tweaking things and working with it. Granted, we're working with Open Broadcaster, which is a free service, but I don't know how well the paid services are either. They're Open Broadcaster is pretty good. It's set up very nice. It's done by who did you say it was made by?
Open Broadcast, or I don't remember who actually did it, but I'll put it in the link below so people can check it out and support them also, since it's a good program.
Yeah, you had mentioned to me the one day who it was that made it. It was like two guys or something that worked for their company. But
Yeah.
yeah, we've just been having issues with HDCP. It's a pain in the ass. But Xbox One had been recently discovered. Actually, I should say Microsoft had recently discovered that YouTubers got paid off to say positive comments about Xbox One. It's kind of a shame because what the hell was that? Did you
What?
hear a sound in the background?
No.
I don't know. Maybe it's something on my end. Ah, Christ! Did my Xbox One turn on? My Xbox One turned on.
Xbox just turned. Well, you're talking positively about the Xbox, so it just
They're watching.
to,
See, they're listening now. They don't want me to say anything negative.
Yeah.
I assure you, I haven't been paid off by Microsoft. I can talk negatively
Well,
about it.
they know the people like that actually like do the thing for it when they send them the Xbox to say the positive comments and pay them the money. They just listen in on their conversations to make sure that the actual videos go in their way.
Well, now the NSA and Microsoft is both watching us at the same time right here now.
Yeah.
Xbox shut down. Or, yes. I don't know if it's shut down or turn off. I forget. Xbox turn off. Yes.
His Xbox does this all the time. He won't even be talking about Xbox, and it'll just be like Food Network will just come on him. I swear. There was one time you're just like, no, I don't want to watch Breaking Bad.
Yeah. I gotta constantly tell the Xbox to shut up and stop listening to me. It's funny. That was funny because I don't remember saying, the magic word, the magic words
like,
on.
you did say Xbox, and of course it's just like, you're talking about me?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
They heard that I was talking about their YouTubers that they paid off. They're like, what? What's going on here? But yeah, it's unfortunate that a couple guys had misled some people. These guys are paid basically as spokespeople for Xbox One unknowingly to the people that are watching them. See, it must be true. Ryan sneezed, so you know it's true.
Yep.
And it came out recently that these guys were paid off, and they weren't allowed to talk about it, that they were paid off by Microsoft to tell you positive reactions that they were having with the games and the console itself. And they couldn't say anything negative about it, and they couldn't talk about how they had done this agreement with them. And it's kind of misleading to the people and to the fans that they have, because a lot of them, they seem like they're legitimately just doing it on their own without being paid as a corporate, spokesperson. When behind the scenes, they were who was it? Macro. What company? Machinima. Sorry.
Machinima struck the deal, I'm guessing, with Microsoft, and then didn't really force their people to do it, but were just very suggestive, like, oh, you'll get extra money for doing this, and it happens all the time with YouTube. Well, YouTubers that do have a lot of subscribers, because it's the new way of getting people's products or companies' products out to other people so that they can experience them, and maybe it will find an audience with certain tech reviewers that it wouldn't with another one, but it's just all, it's all advertising and marketing, which that's all over the place nowadays.
Yeah, no, I was reading that Microsoft wasn't the only one that was doing this. EA was doing this, and PlayStation, Sony was also doing this. Now, this is not something new, but for people who aren't necessarily paid spokespersons for these companies, they were behind the doors doing these deals so that they would seem legitimate and genuine about their their review of the console and games, when they were actually being paid to do so. It was misleading and all. I don't blame the guys for doing the deals. I mean, you got to make money somehow. I'm currently not getting paid to do any of this. I'm doing it all on my own with hopes that I can make money in the future and do it. But I don't like the fact that you can't give an honest review about it. I think a lot of it might have to do with the fact that Microsoft had received a lot of negative input after the initial talk about their launch of the Xbox One and what they were going to do back in summertime. They received a lot of negative input from a whole bunch of people all over, people from the industry, people from the consumer end of it, and they've since backtracked on a lot of things that they initially were going to do. And I understand why they were going to do what they were going to do. Having you download games was a cool idea. It's just the fact that you have limited amount of space is what kind of sucks. You know, if you had a couple terabytes on the Xbox One, it wouldn't have been such an issue anymore. But you only have less than 500 gigabytes on there, and some of these games can be up to 50 gigabytes. Now, you don't need to do the I don't really need to do the math for you right there, but that's 10 games if you don't even have an operating system and anything else that's downloaded to the hard drive itself. That's not enough. Most people buy 10
The
games.
OS takes up almost like 80 gigs too, doesn't it?
What's that?
And all the other software?
What?
Doesn't it take up almost like 80 gigs?
We don't
of the
we don't
500?
know what actually is taken up by it because they haven't updated the user interface yet. It doesn't tell you.
Alright.
There's no way of knowing how much you have. Unfortunately, it's still, you know, being updated constantly. It's a brand new console, so it's going to take them a while to completely update everything. I think the revamping they did recently set them back a couple months, so stuff that they probably would have had at launch has been missing since then because they had to
That's
change.
unfortunate because my PC tells me I have 5 terabytes available.
Yeah, oh, well, it will.
Yeah,
They said it will.
Jeff.
That's one of the updates that's coming up. They said. In fact, I haven't been on it in a few days, so I'm not sure. They might have changed it already. But last I know, I couldn't determine how much space I had left on it. But it's not really an issue at this point. I'm not going to be using 500 gigabytes like that. It would take a while before I'd use all that between all the downloads and everything else, all the DLCs for the games. But it's nice, though. The reason why I thought it was a good idea when Microsoft was going digital download only was you can just switch games instantly without having to get up. So it's a convenience for you. But at the same time, I didn't like the fact that you couldn't sell your game or trade it off. They were talking about they were going to allow that and all, but who knows? You know how companies are. They can be shady about things like that. And then all of a sudden it's allowed, then it's not allowed. So who knows? But I did like the fact that you wouldn't have to get up all the time and change a disc. It is nice that you could just be like, hey, Xbox, go from Battlefield to Killer Instinct or go over to Assassin's Creed without having to get up, change a disc, and all that stuff. And so it was for a convenience, but like you know, like I said before, you don't know what these companies what they're going to do. But at least they did backtrack it, and now that you can put your discs in, I buy discs. I don't mind getting up, but it would be nice not having to. I like being even lazier while I'm lazy.
If you want the disc-less experience, you can just go to Steam or Origin on PC, which you've been doing that here and there with like DayZ, and you're playing a lot of Civilization 5 too, which you get the different ways of playing games now with console and PC.
Yeah, it's PC Master Race. It's going to crush you and dominate you. You just buy it and then fuck it. I don't even care. But yeah, I mean, I like consoles and PC. I know there's people like PC only, console only. Yeah, it's stupid. It's apples and oranges at this point.
I mean, if you have a $4,000 PC and like some crazy screen setup like Barnacules, and like he still has both, but like honestly, he probably prefers playing on his really nice PC over console. You do get a little bit better experience when you do put the extra effort into the system.
Well, what he said is what I agree with. I agree with everything he said. He said he made good points about both. If you want the fairest experience playing online, go to consoles because everyone has the same setup. No one has a better setup. You know, you don't have to worry about cheating as much on the console. On PC, it's easy. You can go in, switch a file, change a few things around. Bam, you're cheating now. You can also have better stuff on your PC. You can have a setup like Barnacules or like me. I have 3 screens on my computer right here. I can watch from multiple angles. Now, if you only have one, you can't see your flanks like I can see them or like anybody else can see them. You know, you might have better mouses, better controllers, better keyboards, and all these things. They add advantages. So you are at a disadvantage when you play on PC if you don't have that setup. The other thing with PC is setting things up. You never ever will set a game up and just play. It just never happens. You always got to change drivers. You always got to mess around with some settings and things. And if you just want to plug and play, go to console. Console can't be beat with that. You just put it in a disc, you play it. It's as true of experience as you're going to get with anything else. You don't have to worry about settings and all these things. We know because we've been dealing with it recently too, trying to set things up on my computer, constantly worrying about my 780 Ti running hot. evidently the new Asus graphics cards or the GTX Titans or GTX series cards just seem to run hot. They're built well, and what were you saying? Tech Syndicate said that they were able to run up to like 80 Celsius.
It was Linus, I think, that I watched a video on. It usually runs at 80 Celsius under load. It's just because it's like a compute card. It's like a higher end one, so it can withstand the heat, and it does output more because it is running at like what 7 or 8,000 megahertz.
Yeah,
or the RAM at least is
yeah.
on
I know. I know my graphics card when I was playing DayZ. Now this is the standalone DayZ. This is not the expansion of Arma, which is still in early access alpha. I might add. So it's not optimized at all. This is not built ready, to go on everyone's machines. And while I'm streaming, at the same time, my PC running on normal settings. Now, my computer should be able to run ultra settings, 1080p, 60 frames a second or higher, no problem. Right now, I'm only running at 1080p, normal settings, everything's normal across the board, and it's running hot. It's running well into the 70s. Actually, I'm sorry, I think it even hits up to 83 Celsius at some points too. It just goes like way overboard, and then I start running into issues. It starts.
You gotta run your fan on like 75, 80%. Just blast
Yeah, that's what I've been having it at 75% with the fan speed. I had to go into GPU tweak and change some of the settings for my fans because it just was running too hot. My room was getting like an oven, and the PC just couldn't handle it. But that's only because this game is not optimized. It's in its early access. Everything's just running wild, so to speak. So we'll see as it starts getting through its beta and all. It should become more stable. They recently came out with an update for DayZ. Ryan was listing off some of the new features they have in there. We're going to actually check that out tonight on Twitch. So by the time you guys see this, the broadcast will have already been done. But you can go to my Twitch channel. We'll also have a link down there below in the description, so you can check that out. See our DayZ run through. Me and Ryan are going to go play with one of our friends on it in a little bit, as soon as we're done broadcasting this.
You guys gotta help me get some gear up again, because last time we were playing, I went to go step down a ladder and it launched me like 150 feet off the building, and I'm just sitting there like, you guys want to go pick up my gear? Because I'm dead.
Yeah, we had just gotten pretty much all the gear you can possibly get at this point. I had gotten like all the accessories for my guns. He got all the accessories for his. He had his backpack. We were wearing all military gear. We had all types of medicines in case we came across some type of issue. We had food, water, can openers, you name it, canteens. And so me and Unavailable were down below. We were messing around, checking out some of the areas, gathering a few more little things here and there. And all of a sudden, Ryan was like, yeah, I'm dead. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I went up a ladder. And we looked, and he was at the middle of the building, and he jumped up, I don't know, about like 20, 30 feet. How high in the air did you go? About?
I was like about 1/3 or like 1/4 the size, like higher than the building, just like straight up in the air.
Alright, so he went about,
and then launched.
Yeah, he went up about like 40, 50 feet, about 50, 60 feet. He went 50, 60 feet in the air, and when he launched, he landed right in front of the door where the building is. I'm glad I wasn't standing there. I don't know if that would have killed me, but that's all I would have needed.
Broke my fall.
Yeah, maybe I would have broke your fall and not died. But he launched, and we had to strip him of his stuff, and he's like, I'm out of here. Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Yeah, I haven't played since then. It's been like a week.
Yeah, he was mad. So now we're ready to play and test out the new stuff that's coming on the game.
Yeah. There's a whole new slew of features they've added.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they got. I want to drink some Pepsi. Yeah, that's what we were saying. They were calling it. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I don't know if you care and all, but one of the things that's been pissing me off recently, besides the cat pissing on my bed, of course, pissing on me, is that co-op seems to have disappeared from story mode. Now, I loved playing co-op story mode. You know, one of the things that's been missing from almost every game that's been launching is co-op in general, let alone story mode. I mean, you don't have co-op even in Battlefield, for example. You don't have co-op yet in Assassin's Creed. I'd love to play co-op in Assassin's Creed. It'd be like, you know, almost like the Three Musketeers. You and your friends fighting off a whole bunch of guys. That'd be cool as shit. What the hell is going on, guys? Seriously. All the game makers out there, please, everybody on the forums, get out there, bang the gongs, do what you gotta do. Tell these guys that we want to see co-op in video games. They're coming out with this other game called Alien Isolation. Uh, this is a new game that's been being worked on for the Xbox One. It's in the Alien series, and it's a survival horror game. You can't kill the xenomorph, which is what the aliens are called. They're known as xenomorphs. There's a xenomorph on the ship. You're Ripley's daughter trying to find out what happened to Ripley. It's set between the movie Alien, the first one, and Aliens, the one done by James Cameron. So it's between Ridley Scott and James Cameron's films. This takes place. Ripley's daughter is trying to find out what happened to her mother. She goes across one of these ships to investigate, and of course, there's a xenomorph on there. And you can't kill this thing. Your only thing you can do is survive. So you have to run away from this thing, close doors, weld things shut and all. It looks really scary because, you know, you don't know where it's at. And the way that they designed it, it's based like the 1970s tech, like they had for the original Alien film. The you can see the old TV scanner that they're walking around with. You know, she's looking at her scanner. Where's this thing at? Where's it at? And you can see it flickering and all like the old TVs. It's really cool. And this is being made for, I guess, PlayStation and Xbox, and probably will come to PC. It's a survival horror game called Alien Isolation. Check it out. It'll probably be out sometime this year, probably at the end of the year. They said it looks really good. It looks a lot better than Alien Colonial Marines. We'll say that. So hopefully it does well. But I would have loved to see co-op in that. I think it would have been pretty cool. You know, you and a crew member walking around the ship trying to survive. You know, maybe the other person's trapped in a room. Hold on, let me, you know, get on the computer and go through the things and open it for you. And meanwhile, your friend's in there. You're trying to open the door for them really quick before they get killed by the alien. I mean, it would set up a lot of scary situations, especially for two people, if they would add co-op. Another game I want to play co-op is Assassin's Creed. Like I said, I'd love to sit there and play with two people, and a lot of other games too that are coming out. For instance, what's the mech game coming out?
Titanfall.
Yeah, Titanfall.
Sure.
Titanfall has no story mode, which was a huge step back as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, multiplayer is great, but imagine you and, you know, three friends walking through the story mode with your mechs, and you run across a whole bunch of computer mechs, and you're trying to take on a whole city. That game would have been badass. I played Mech Assault I think it was for 360. Mech Assault was a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys remember that game. That was a co-op. You could play you and your friends and all. They really missed out on that for Titanfall. Co-op Titanfall story mode would have been amazing. So please, guys, talk to your game companies. Go on the forums. Tell them that we want co-op, because I think it's a huge missed opportunity for a lot of fun. You know, I want to be able to play online with my friends during the story mode. I find some of the stories awesome, and I'm sure a lot of you do too. That's why these games are successful. They're not just online games. What about you? Any games you would like to see co-op?
You were saying Battlefield doesn't have it anymore, but they're adding it. That would be nice.
Yeah, DLC, they said they would add it.
I can't really think of like any other games off the top of my head, but I know there's a few. As you said, Assassin's Creed would be nice if they had it where like both people. Fallout, yes, yeah, Fallout. You can just both roam around the world and just have it hosted by whoever's like the host of the game or something.
Even one or two other people in Fallout, I'll take it. Just give us some co-op in
Yeah,
Fallout,
make
please.
it like DayZ style. Have it be like hardcore mode, and have it be like DayZ, where you gotta eat food to survive, and everybody works together, and just have everything like a lot tougher. It would almost be like like one of the Final Fantasy 4-player turn-based things with Fallout with the bat system. It'd be really interesting.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way. That's a real good idea for implementing the system online. What's
Bethesda do it.
Yes, please. What's that one game you've been playing? Something light or whatever? Some type of shooter. You said really scary with monsters and all. You have to breathe. You have to get the oxygen.
Oh, Metro Last Light. Yeah.
Metro Last Light.
If you run out of oxygen, you die and everything.
Yeah, Metro Last Light would be great. Then you got to share oxygen between you and your friend.
They are supposedly going to Call of Duty it up, which I don't mind if they add multiplayer into that. Like have it be like a Battlefield style shooter or Call of Duty shooter, because it's really cool areas. It's very nice. Like even just walking around the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, I've been wanting to play with Ryan on some of these games, and none of them have co-op, even in the mods. Like I wanted to get Fallout. If you put it this way, if you had co-op on Fallout New Vegas, I would have rebought it for my PC. But because it doesn't have it, I'm not even bothering. I want to play with my friends. I don't want to play alone all the time. You know, I want to have my cake and eat it too.
All right, continue with the topic. I just have to run to the bathroom. I drank way too much water today.
Again? Jesus.
Yeah. Be right back.
Just get a Gatorade bottle. So, I was reading an article recently that they're coming out, or they're trying to come out, Intel is, with a new way of cooling off microprocessors. One of the main problems facing with microprocessors now is they're getting smaller and faster. Now, unfortunately, when you do that and you compact these things, heat starts to build up and becomes an issue. Excuse me. Besides heat, water is one of the most damaging things to electronics. And they were talking about getting organic molecules because these carbon nanotubes have no way of actually sealing to the metal itself. And kind of like a thermal paste that's used for your heatsink in your processor. Now, they're going to take organic molecules and attach them through nanotechnology, put them onto the chip itself, run it to these carbon nanotubes, and then have the heatsink. Welcome back. And then they're going to have the heatsink cool it off. And it's going to be the new way. They were saying something like it's 6 times the difference in heating displacement onto the processors, which will be great because then you could potentially run processors 6 times as fast. I don't need to tell you guys how fast that would be for some of your processors. I mean, I'm currently running at 4.4 gigahertz. I could even run my processor higher if I had water cooling system on it. So just imagine if we could do 6 times 5 gigahertz, that's 30 gigahertz on one core that you could run. That's faster. It's faster than my whole PC is right now on one core if we could use carbon nanotubes. So hopefully Intel comes out with this. Now, from what I was seeing though, the way that they're doing this, it would be a custom built PC though. It would be something like the new Mac Pros. You can't customize it after they do this. Unless they come out with a new way to attach these things. It would be very delicate, and changing out a heatsink now would become something from a semi-difficult thing to do to almost a near impossible thing to do.
Since it's dealing with nanotech, it would be a real health hazard if you were to change out something like that on the PC. You'd have to have one of those glass enclosures where you just got the gloves and doing all the stuff. Otherwise, if you breathe something in or something like breaks off on it.
No, it's not. They were saying it's safe. It's the one thing is it would be very delicate because you're talking about a few strains of molecules attaching a carbon nanotube. Now I think because that's basically what's the thermal paste. There's no way to attach the carbon. Carbon doesn't attach. It's not adhesive to metals. So you have to find some way to attach it that can handle the heat that'll be transferred onto the carbon. They were saying that carbon handles heat so well, it's better than what diamonds take. Now I'm not, what do you call it, geologist, so I don't know like all the displacement of heat and transfer and all. But I do know that to create a diamond, it takes immense pressure and heat, and for something to have the ability to take higher heat than a diamond, it's pretty impressive. And like I said, 6 folds. What your heat's being displaced now on your heatsink means you can run your processors 6 times that, or at least close to 6 times that theoretically. Now, this isn't something that's going to be available anytime soon. It might be a few years before we see it, but it would be pretty cool. And Intel hasn't said whether this is going to be commercially available or not. It might wind up being one of those industrial only things because it's going to be built for custom PCs, kind of like the Mac Pros are, where you're not supposed to be able to really take them apart and customize them too much.
You are able to change certain stuff out on the new Mac Pro. I guess you can't change the processor out, but it's like taking apart a laptop. It's not fun at all. Lots of things. It's not simple. Like you changed out your heatsink on your computer. First time doing it, it was pretty easy. I mean, a little bit of a pain in the ass first time, but it wasn't anything like super technical.
No, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it like a 6 or a 7. It wasn't that difficult to do. The most pain in the ass part was actually you kind of need another set of hands to do it, unless you try to do it a different way. But I found the easiest way was when the tower was standing up. I had my grandfather hold, while I was holding it in place, he was screwing on in the back because it's kind of hard to do. They're very, very small bolts, and you got to line them up right, and you got to get them on there and all. So I just had him, while I held it in place, I had him screw them on, and then I further tightened it when I got around back and did it myself. But initially setting it up, it can be a little tricky. I wouldn't say it's difficult to do if you know what you're doing. It's just tricky. It's one of those things, everything has to line up right, and you got to hold multiple things at once in place while you're trying to screw something in. It requires an extra set of hands if you want it done easy.
Yeah. There is another easier way of doing it though, if you just did it like directly on the motherboard without it being in the case. But with that big of a
then I have to take apart my whole PC, which I didn't feel like doing. I mean, you know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes of struggling with it, as opposed to another half hour to take my whole PC apart. Screw that. You know, if you're building the PC from the start, yeah, no problem. Go ahead and do it that way. You know, you already have everything out anyway, so you might as well. But if you're putting it onto your PC that's already built, I recommend doing it the way I did it. It's easy if you just have.
Yeah, the way that you did it, I think, is the recommended way. But I've done it the other way before because I had my stuff already out and it was just lighter.
Yeah, it's easier to work with that way. I mean, I can get behind it. My case, the way my case is built on R2 is, it has on a back plate on it. Instead of just taking out the front plate where I can put in my RAM, put everything else in, I have a back plate, and it allows me to get access behind my motherboard. It's a unique case. I paid $175 for it, so it's a higher end case. You get those type of features, and that's one of the reasons I got it. So if I ever want to put on a cooling system, you know, it's not an issue, especially with all the tubing and all that other stuff that comes with water cooling, which we might be doing.
Yeah, we got to water cool your 780 Ti eventually.
Water cooling my 780 Ti sometime this summer. We'll see, because I'm going to be running it a little hot. It's not going to be in an air-conditioned room all the time. Only when it's like really hot out will I put the AC on in that room.
Maybe if you have the T5i, or if you have like the like 5D or whatever we end up getting, we'll do a whole video on it and like show how it's
when you
done
bring your
for people.
camera, we'll shoot it. We'll show you guys us. We're gonna put a custom cooler on the 780 Ti. Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Hopefully there's no stickers in it to void the warranty, because that can be a pain in the ass. Especially on the graphics card I have, it's $700. I don't want to risk ruining my warranty on that card. No.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
You want to tell them about Kim.coms?
Yeah, I guess Kim.com launched it's like a techno / like electronic dance music album, and I guess he was doing decently like on his own service that he launched called Baboom, where you only pay for it if you like it, so it's pretty much free, which that's pretty cool. It's kind of like if you don't have the money, you can get it for free, listen to it, and then just pay for it some other time if you
So in
want
other
to.
words,
But you
it's
don't
the
have to.
premier site for trolls to go and get their free music. I don't like it. This sucks. I'm
Yeah.
just going to take it anyway and listen to it.
Yeah. But I guess there was some other issue where he was like doing radio advertisements or some type of advertisement trying to get his stuff like in America, and they like pulled his advertisements, which is kind of ridiculous. They just didn't want to like advertise this stuff because somebody high up is
That's
like,
pol-
oh, no, pull it.
there is
'Cause he's-
this is from what I'm been reading into, and what he's been saying and all, and I believe him because of what's been done. In fact, Vice did a recent interview with him. You guys can check that out. We support Vice and whatever they do. Those guys are awesome. They get some of those stories that aren't going to be put on the news. This guy was been targeted for his own ownership of Mega Uploads. They were going after him because people were uploading stuff onto the website, not from his. He wasn't the one that said to do it, but people were doing it. Kind of like Google, you could upload whatever you want, but Google takes it down. Well, his was encrypted, so he couldn't see what you were putting up there, and people were putting up movies and sharing them and stuff, and because of that, they went after him because he's the one with the money, and he's trying to become like a political party in New Zealand. So this is kind of politically influenced. They're cutting off his commercials. They're stopping his advertisements. They're not even playing his songs on the radio. So it's really politically influenced. They fear him because this is like you said, the internet party. All the kids and all the young people are getting together, starting their own political party, and they're trying to take back their country. And these old farts are, clutching it with their death grip. We won't let our country go to waste, even though they'll be dead in a few years, it won't matter. So,
yeah. I mean, like, he's not a bad guy. He's just good at making money and doing stuff. And, I mean, if they're just going to attack him because he lives, like, an extravagant lifestyle, then I guess he's, like, as he's said, he's an easy target for them. Even though there's other companies that did the same thing that he did.
Yeah, he's kind of like the Napster of his of this day and age. That for those of you that are young and don't know what Napster was a way for you to go get free music. You could go on there, everyone could share their music, you can listen to it, which is kind of funny. I mean, you can go on to YouTube and listen to any type of music if you want to, and it's...
Or Pandora or Spotify.
Exactly, you don't have to pay for those services, and you get the music for free. So I don't see where the problem is, and as far as I'm concerned, I put up this show for free. I do it for you guys. I don't do it for me. I do it for everyone else to entertain and to educate you guys and to teach you guys and tell you about all the cool things that are going on and have fun while we're doing it. I don't want to, I'd like to make money, but I'm not trying to, have you pay an arm and a leg for it and all. And a lot of these people are just trying to charge you way more than their product's worth, and no wonder people are stealing it. You charge all this money for it. It's ridiculous.
Mainly, you just gotta, like, we're just trying to produce good content and, like, keep upping the production value and working towards our other stuff. And if you're not able to do that on the internet, it really sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's free advertising. That's the same thing that's going on with these video game companies and YouTube. They're not letting you show their video game, you playing their video game. They're stupid. These guys are basically demonstrating how cool your video game is. Look at how amazing this game is. Look at all the cool things you can do. Look at how much fun we're having. And, you think that that's hurting you in some way? Oh, I'm not going to play your video game because I saw that guy play it. Like, what the hell's the logic in that? If I see a video game video, I want to play it. I don't know about you. How about you?
It's the only way. I go and watch them, and then if they're good, I usually buy them or play a demo or something like that. I got to see how it's played. Like DayZ, I watched probably people stream it for I don't know how many weeks before I bought it because it was enjoyable to watch.
Same with me. Proof positive. There you go. 2 people just bought your product because we saw it on YouTube.
Actually, YouTube and Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch is a good way to see all the games. Like I said, I got mine up there. You guys can check out some of my videos. I got a whole bunch of video games I play. Some cool videos up there. We'll be editing them and putting them up on YouTube sometime soon. In fact, that's what we're going to be doing tonight.
A lot more content in the coming weeks because more free time and less being sick. But just to let you know, my battery is running low on my camera now.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up with how I've been getting cheated on Civilization 5. These damn computers, man, they don't make them smarter. They just make them harder. instead of having the same type of boundaries that you have as a player in the game, they get it's like playing like Cartman and ninjas. I don't know if you guys ever seen South Park with Cartman's. He said, I have the power to have all the powers that I want. And that's pretty much what the computers are doing. They have all the abilities to do whatever they want, and they're running over you, like like a steamroller. For example, if you play like games that are first-person shooters, you can have a shotgun to the computer's back, and the computer can move so quick. Not only can it turn around, but it can turn around and shoot you dead before you even get a chance to get a shot off, because that's the only way they can make it harder. They give them 100% accuracy, movement speed, a little bit quicker than you and stuff, and that's their better way of making stronger AI. It's kind of cheating is the way I say it. They need to come up with better ways to make AI for the game that isn't annoying either. So please, guys, work on developing your AIs in your video games. Don't make them stupid like that. It's ridiculous. It's like they're sending barbarians in this game after me, and barbarians can't even be controlled except by the computer. So the computer did what was more beneficial to it, and going after the human player rather than trying to fight each other too at the same time, and just looking at me as another enemy, not the only enemy. But check out the Twitch channel. Please like and subscribe. If you have any comments or anything to talk about, put them in the sections below. And we'll see you guys in a little bit. Talk to you later. Bye. It's PC Master Race. It's going to crush you and dominate you. You just buy it and then fuck it. I don't even care.